Brahma Varchasvi. One who is born of a Brahmana father but does not act as a Brahmana is called in Vedic language a Brahma Bandhu and is calculated to be on the level of Shudras and women. Thus, thus in the Bhagavatam we find that Mahabharata was specifically compiled by Vyasadeva for Stri Sudra Brahma Bandhu. Stri means women, Sudra means lower class of civilized human society, and Brahma Bandhu means persons who are born in the families of Brahmanas but do not follow the rules and regulations carefully. All of these three classes are called less intelligent. They have no access to the study of the Vedas, which are specifically meant for persons who have acquired the Brahmanical qualifications. This restriction is based not upon any sectarian distinction, but upon qualification. The Vedic literatures cannot be understood unless one has developed the Brahmanical qualifications. It is regrettable, therefore, that persons who have no Brahmanical qualifications and have never been trained under a bona fide spiritual master nevertheless comment on the Vedic literatures like the Srimad Bhagavatam and other Puranas. For such persons cannot deliver their real message. Ruchi was considered a first class Brahmana. Therefore, he is mentioned here as Brahma Varchasvi, one who had full prowess in Brahmanical strength. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadanti Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Utapatakamelam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतम सावधूतम परिजन सहितम कृष्ण चैतन्य देवम श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवाशादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So it is uh, it is all good to see that we have completed Canto 3, and in the third verse of Canto 4, um, it is a great achievement, and Srila Prabhupada humbly um, glorifies. In the first verse, Srila Prabhupada humbly, purport of the first verse of this chapter, Srila Prabhupada humbly glorifies his Guru Maharaj, Panchatattva, and the deities, Shri Shri Radha Madhav, Radha Shamsundar, Radha Krishna, uh, for giving the opportunity to compile or translate the Srimad Bhagavatam into English. So he was uh, very was showing the gratitude in the first verse for empowering him to finish this. This is how every spiritual master should be in general. I mean, Srila Prabhupada is qualified enough to translate, but that is the mood he carries. So that's one thing I want to point out here. So as we are in the beginning of the Canto 4, I think it's a good point where we can just go back and recap to see how we have landed here. Where are we exactly in the process of reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam or listening to the course of Srimad Bhagavatam, right? So the first verse starts with Maitreya Uvacha. So where Maitreya Uvacha, if you remember correctly, in the third canto, 20th chapter, if I'm not wrong, or 12th chapter, there was a conversation that I started between Maitreya Muni and Vidura. So that conversation lead us into the questions of Vidurji. He was asking questions to Maitreya Muni to talk about the creation, the secondary creation. Right? So the secondary creation means the creation which the the primary creation which was done by Lord Vishnu is the cosmic manifestation of this universe. Like all those topics were already discussed, like how the um, yeah, all the universes comes out of Lord Vishnu, and how Garbhodakshay Vishnu and Ksharodakshay Vishnu appear to manage and maintain this creation. But once that is done, the secondary creation is the creation which is done by Lord Brahmaji. Lord empowers Brahmaji to to maintain and create, sorry, to create this secondary creation. So secondary creation means basically the beginning of the human beings. So is a part of that beginning of the human beings, that conversation we have seen. We have talked a little bit about the conversation between Maitreya Muni and Vidura. We'll talk a little bit about um Swambhava Manu, and it jumps into the conversations of a daughter of Swambhava Manu. So Swambhava Manu has three daughters, Swambhava Manu and Mother Satrupa. They have three daughters and two sons, right? Um, I know this is overloaded with information, but try to follow through the conversation or my talk so that we'll understand where we stand. Okay. So Swambhav Manu marries Satrupa, and Mother Satrupa and Swambhav Manu have three sons. Sorry, three daughters and two sons. What are the names of three daughters? Akuti, Prasuti, and Devahuti. Right? Devahuti was married to Kardama Muni. That conversation, the departure of, I mean, they had son, Lord appeared as Kapiladev for them as son, and that conversation was completed in the last canto 3 ended there, right? Now, that was Devahuti. Now, the first daughter, Akuti, we'll see the conversation of Akuti, Mother Akuti, now in this chapter. And um, Mother Prasuti was being, I mean, uh, yeah, married to Daksha Prajapati. So that conversation will come in this canto only, canto 4, in the following chapters. Pretty soon. It has very good explanation of what happens, and Mother Daksha and Prasuti will have a daughter called Sati. They have 15 daughters, out of which one daughter is Sati. Mother Sati was married to Lord Shiva, and their conversation, Daksha's curse, and all these things show up in the later parts of this canto. Okay, that is Prasuti. Um, the Akuti's story will come now, and we'll discuss about it in this chapter only. In this chapter, right in these verses. And Swayambhu Manu and Mother Satrupa had two sons. Who were those two sons? Priyavrata and Uttanapad, right? So Priyavrata is the eldest son. So eventually, eldest son should become the king after his father wants to retire, right? But Priyavrata's guru was Narada Muni. So because he was influenced with the spiritual knowledge he got from the Narada Muni, he didn't want to get into the material management, and he doesn't want to get into the management position, or he doesn't want to become the king of this universe, to maintain this universe. So Priyavata said, I don't want to be the king, and he went to the ascetic life. He became a great ascetic. He was following strictly like a lot of austerities, uh, and he was not involved with this material world. Now, because Priyavarta was not didn't become the king, Swayambhu Manu had an option of bringing in Uttanapad. The second son, Uttanapad. Uttanapad was made as the king of the. He became the king of the kingdom. Kingdom is like all whole universe. So now Uttanapad, we all know the story of Dhruva Maharaj, right? So Uttanapad is the father of Dhruva Maharaj, and Uttanapad has another son. Uttanapad had two wives, right? Um, yeah, two wives, and he had two sons, one from each wife, Uttama and Dhruva. So we all know the story of Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj gets um, agitated because his father was favoring his second wife's, sorry, his stepmother's son, who is Uttama, on seating and all those things. So that was a story where Dhruva Maharaj went, he got the mercy of the Lord, and he became the king of this universe, and he ruled for 40,000 years. And afterwards, He retired and his sons, and it goes on, and it goes on till the Prachetas. So the Prachetas, Prachetas, they said that they don't want to rule the kingdom because they want to go, because they were influenced by Nardamuni again. Nardamuni was their guru, and he instructed them to go, and the main goal of this life was to become or to achieve Krishna, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they practiced bhakti, and they moved out of the kingdom. They said they don't want to rule the kingdom, and they didn't have any um, yeah, progeny to rule this kingdom. At this point of time, then the question again came back to Swayambhava Manu, that who will rule the kingdom? He's old. He has retired, and he that's then the option left was he went back to Priyavrata, who is his first son, who already became an ascetic, and he went to Priyavrata and asked him to come back to the kingdom. Priyavrata said, "I don't want to, because I'm already a ascetic. I don't want to come back to this material world again." But because but at that point of time, Brahmaji's grandfather came down, and he requested Prayavata to please come back and rule the kingdom, because there must be someone who should, in this material world, the progeny has to happen. There should be some continuity. They cannot end somewhere there like that. So Brahmaji came, requested Prayavata to come back and take the kingdom, because of due to the respect of his grandfather, or the supreme being of this universe. Priyavrata came back, and he took the kingdom. He ruled the kingdom in such a way, very opulently. He had a um, uh, he was empowered, because he was already an ascetic. He was already following the bhakti path, and he was already dedicated his life for Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he was blessed to have. So um, devotees are very much empowered to do the best things in this world. I mean, we may say that, oh, he is a devotee. He may have only the qualities required to do bhakti, but when you perform bhakti, everything else will be achieved also. So similarly, the because of this dedication, because he has followed the path of bhakti, Pravrata was empowered to rule the kingdom in the best way possible. So Prevrata was married to Bharishmati. She is the daughter of Vishwakarma. So Bharishmati and Prevrata, so they had 10 sons and one daughter. Okay, 10 sons. Out of 10 sons, three sons became, they took sannyas. Basically, they didn't want to be involved as like their father in the previous time. So, those three sons, they became ascetics. They didn't want to rule the kingdom. And for the remaining seven sons, King Prevrata, he ran through the universe, right? On his chariot. The rims of his chariot divided this place into seven oceans and seven islands. We'll get to know about these details. King Prevrata's story in the fifth canto. The fourth canto, starting with the story of Akuti and Ruchi, and his her lineage here. But in the fifth canto, the first chapter starts with Priyavrata's story and how he ruled the kingdom, and what all the names and everything will. So yeah, names and everything will get it. The first son of Priyavrata is Agnidra. So Agnidra will take the kingdom, but um, but he Priyavrata's Priyavrata has divided this universe into seven oceans and seven islands. These seven islands were given to the seven sons, the seven remaining sons, and they rule these parts of this universe. So that is the story of Priyavrata. I mean, we can get into details. So now we talked about Swayambhuva Manu and Satrupa. Swayambhuva Manu and Satrupa, they have three daughters and two sons. Three daughters, Akuti, Prasuti, and Devahuti. We talked about Akuti, Prasuti, and Devahuti a little bit, and we talked about Uttanapad and Prevrata. How Prevrata came back to kingdom, and he was very he um, Priyavrata ruled the kingdom very nicely, and there was at one point, Brahmaji was very confused on what to do, because there was no one to rule the kingdom, but somehow Priyavrata came back and take the charge of this kingdom. Now, in this chapter, where Sorry, just to say it again, in the previous chapter we talked about the one daughter of Swayambhu, which is the Mother Devahuti. She was married to Kardama Muni and Kapiladev, the instructions of Kapiladev, Shankya philosophy, and we talked about all those things in the previous chapter, previous canto, and it ended with that story only. But in this canto, we'll talk about or the story goes on with the Akuti. So Akuti is one of the daughters of Swayambhu and Satrupa. So Akuti was handed over to Ruchi. So the verse we are talking today, yeah. So yeah, we'll talk about second verse a little bit and go to the third verse. Okay. In the second verse, Akuti had two brothers, but in spite of her brothers, King Swayambhuva Manu handed her over to Prajapati Ruchi on the condition that the son born of her be returned to Manu as his son. Right. So generally, um, when a father doesn't have a son, he has only daughters, then there is a system or a process where to run the lineage of his family, he can hire or he can get a son or grandson as a son. Okay, one person if he doesn't have a especially kings because they want to have some uttradhikari or the one who can continue the or who can run the system of government or the ruling of the kingdom. So for that purpose, they want to have someone. So what they do is a person can have can give his daughter to someone else and their son, meaning the person's grandson can be hired as a um, as their own son. They'll accept the grandson as their own son. That is the process. But in this case, even though Swayambhu Manu had two sons, who are those two sons? Uttanupad and Prevrata, we talked about them, right? So even though he had two sons, but still he gave Akuti to Prajapati Ruchi. Prajapati is a progenitor. He's the son of Brahma. So Akuti was married to Ruchi. His name is Ruchi. And the condition, on one condition, the Swami Manu said that if I'll give my daughter Akuti to you, but you both should give me your son, right? So why did he do that? So Swayambhu Manu knew that their son will be Lord himself. Lord is coming or will be born or appeared as their son, will appear as their son. So Swayambhu Manu wanted to take that child as accept that child as his own son. Okay. So this he did consultation in consultation with the wife Satrupa. So Mother Satrupa also accepted for it and they got the son. So it shows that if someone is having a Lord as a supreme, the Lord as their son, that means we can understand how glorified they should be, right? That shows the power of Ruchi. Ruchi was very that power of the Ruchi we can see in the third verse, which is Prajapati sa Bhagavan. So he was considered as Bhagavan here, Ruchi. Why? He was very opulent. Bhagavan, the most opulent is Bhagavan. So Ruchi was considered as Bhagavan. He like this was told by Maitreya Muni. Maitreya Muni is telling him is Bhagavan. Bhagavan is there are six opulences, but this Bhagavan for Ruchi is applied here because he was very opulent. Why is he opulent? It says here Brahma Varchasvi. The word Brahma Varchasvi explains how opulent he was, how big, how great he was. So Brahma Varchasvi, Srila Prabhupada explains it here. Brahma Varchasvi is the word which we have to pay attention here. So Brahma Varchasvi means he was very strict in his Brahmanical duties. He was following his Brahmanical duties. And Srila Prabhupada explains the Brahmanical qualifications are control of the senses, control of the mind, cleanliness within and without, development of spiritual and material knowledge, simplicity, truthfulness, faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, etc. So it's not ending here, but these are the qualities. When we have the control of senses, we can focus on other things. If we don't have control of senses, we're still will be delving into the senses, and we have to deal with this sensual pleasures and sensual activities. Senses will carry us or take us around for a ride, and we keep going all around. So the control of senses is important for a brahmana when he's performing his duties, right? Let's say if you're praying, or if you're setting up an altar, if you're setting up a yagnasthala, and your senses are driving you around, so you don't have focus. You don't have focus on the mantras. You don't have focus on the inviting the Lord. You don't have focus on offering the items to the Lord. So nothing will happen. So the control of senses is important for Brahmana. And control of the mind. The control of senses comes with control of the mind, and cleanliness within and without. Suchi is also important, and development of spiritual and material knowledge both, because Brahmanas they deal with the spiritual knowledge, that is we all know, but they also deal with the consultations, guiding, and giving the right procedures. Like all the kings in the previous times, they used to have a Brahmana as their advisor, because they advise the goods and bads of the society, the best thing to do. And because Brahmanas are knowledgeable enough, they can guide us in the right way, like what is right to do at this situation, what is wrong, the decisions and decisions. This material world is full of decisions, as I said in one of the previous classes. It's wide junction. You go um, and you reach at one point, you have to decide if you have to go left or right. Every time the decisions are there. So uh, what is right, what is wrong, that will be guided by the Brahmanas. And simplicity, they don't show off. It's very simple. Truthfulness is another character. Faith in the Supreme Personality of God, it is super important. They completely depend on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's why he also Srila Prabhupada also mentions this in um, um, Ruchi, yeah, sorry. Ruchi followed all the Brahminical principle rigidly. So he was very, very strict about his things. That's why when you follow, when in any profession or in any thing, in whatever we are doing, if we are focused, if you are rigid, or if you not rigid, but if we are really dedicating our time to that, we'll have a success. So in this case, because Ruchi was following these Brahminical principles rigidly, was very strict. He was very nicely following these principles. That's why the success for him is in the form of a son, and the son name of the son is Yagna. So Yagna was born for him, and Yagna is Lord himself, Supreme Personality of Godhead himself appeared to them as Yagna. Therefore, he is specifically mentioned as Brahma Varchasvi. Varchasvi is the one who is very strict, or yeah, we can see here, spiritually very much powerful. Varchasvi is very powerful. One who is born of a Brahma. Okay, the other part of the antonym for Varchasvi or Brahma Varchasvi is Brahma Bandhu. That's what Srila Prabhupada is pointing here. So one who is born of Brahmana father but doesn't act as a Brahmana is called in Vedic language a Brahma Bandhu. So most of the I mean, I can say to my Brahmana friends, they are born to a Brahmana family, but they don't strictly follow. Actually, there I have few Brahmana friends. So they're worse than regular people. They do the things which were not supposed to be done by a Brahmana. So those are all, even though they are born as a Brahmana, but they're not following their principles. So that such persons are called as Brahma Bandhu, and is calculated to be on the level of Shudras and women. So there is no difference. Basically, everyone is Shudra. That's what Srila Prabhupada mentions in one of the purports, that everyone in this Kali Yuga is kind of a Sudra, because no one follows the principles in the right way. So thus, in the Bhagavatam, we find that Mahabharata was specifically compiled by Vasudeva first, three Shudra and Brahma Bandhu. So yeah, Mahabharata was compiled for basically Kali Yuga. It's a story of Kali Yuga, and we have this is for the people of Kali Yuga. Three means women, and okay, he explains that all of these three classes are called less intelligent. They have no access to the study of Vedas. So the study of Vedas requires qualifications to perform. So somehow, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we all are not qualified, but still, because we have showed some interest, some connection. Srila Prabhupada and his disciples, and grand disciples, they are engaging us in this bhakti, in this line of Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, where we can have, we were given authority, not authority, but at least we are given some privilege to do some services in this line, in the Bhakti Yoga. But otherwise, where do we have qualification, right? So, for to perform any activities like study of Vedas, especially, we have to have a Brahminical qualifications. This restriction is based not upon the sectarian distinction. This is very important. Even though some may question, hey, why are you saying that Stri Shudra Brahma Bandhu are not allowed? Yes, they are not allowed because they don't have qualification, and this qualification is not because of sectarian distinction. Oh, you are a brahmana, you are a vaishya, you are a shudra. No, not like that. You are a stri, you are not stri. No, it's not like that. It's about how you are behaving. What is your qualification? What are you doing? Even though if you were brahman, like our Haridas Thakur, he was born in a Mohammedan family, but still he was considered to be the greatest acharya, namacharya, because of his dedication. So these qualifications are not through the sectarian distinctions, but upon qualification. Okay, so like that, Ruchi was a super king. I mean, he was a powerful king, and he was Akuti. This verse says that on the powerful king, and he was a Brahma Varchasvi. He was a powerful Brahmana, and Akuti and Pasuti will beget a supreme personality of Godhead as a child, and the moment they get the child, they will his name will be Yagna, and Yagna will be given to Swayambhava Manu, and we'll see the later part of the story in the coming verses. Okay, we'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you very much, Hare Krishna Prabhu. We'd like to wish everybody a safe and Krishna conscious day ahead. Also, on this auspicious day, we would like to wish them happy Makar Sankranti, happy Lori, happy Pongal, happy Bihu, whatever they're following. We'd like to offer our prayers to the Supreme Lord by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare.
Jai Nrsimha, Jai Nrsimha, Praladesha, Jaya Padma Mukha, Padma Pringa, Mugraveera,
Rugraveram Mahavishnu, Jalantam Sarvatomukam, Narsingham Vishnam Badram, Kimityu Namami.
Bhagwan ki jai, Prahlad
Jai,
Maharaj.
Jai.
Let's offer our humble obeisances to all the Asimal Vaishnavas.
Vanchakalpatarubhasya, Kupasindhu Bhavaya, Patitanam
Vaishnava
Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah.
Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Ki
jai.
Jai.
Prabhupada
Ki Jai.
God Premanande.
Hari 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 Bo.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhu.
everybody.
Thank you,
Hari Bo. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hari.